Welcome. We are at a very special location today. We are at Darenth Denehole, or Denehole you could call it. What it is it's a very old, and I mean old, chalk mining system. Now the reason why I can't give you a date for it is because we don't actually know how old Daneholes are. But the purpose of them that we pretty much sort of know a rough idea is that they were used for chalk mining purposes. So the idea is that the farmer or the agricultural person who would have been around here at the time would have potentially hired someone, and they would have been specialists to literally dig a pit, grab all the chalk out. In terms of, they would have done it in a caval system, so they would have like done it making little caves of chalk, used a bucket and winch from the top here, and they would have winched out the chalk, and what that chalk would have been used for would have been for agricultural purposes such as farming in general, so to help produce more fertile soil, etc. And obviously in Kent we have a fair few of these in the southeast because we're quite heavily chalkified. Our stratigraphy is quite layered with, try saying that when you're drunk, is quite heavily layered with chalk. So we'll talk about what we can see here, and then we'll talk about obviously what we're inside. So believe it or not, this is the actual well pit itself. Now as you can see, what we've done is we've belayed up our two LED strip lights that Matt, believe it or not, is with us today. So hello Matt.
You're right.
All done. Yeah, we've belayed the two torches down there as almost like hanging lights. Now what they would have done was they would have made little footwells, and they would have literally gone down there pretty much with maybe even a rope, maybe not, and you would have gone straight down there and you would have mined for chalk itself. And then pretty much the same as this, there would have been a winch and it would have been a little bucket. It would have mined the chalk out for itself. Now we're kind of on a day where it was heavily raining yesterday. This isn't going to help our journey. Down there itself though is actually one of the chalk cave pits. Now what you're going to see is when you go in there is that you are going to see almost like a butterfly. So down there, that's the kind of middle part, and then it opens up into three wings, and they would have been symmetrical for no particular reason, just a bit of like, maybe they had OCD back then. This one that we're entering is actually collapsed, and that's been collapsed for a very long time now. And yeah, it's dangerous. The opening itself is quite dangerous when we get in there. It's quite slippery. Me and Matt came up here last weekend, and I went down there, and we got more ropes this time because actually, funny enough, not only for safety purposes, because it is effing dangerous down there, but actually getting out is probably the most difficult thing to do. Now, if you are watching this, we heavily recommend that you don't try and do this one. What I'm going to do is when we go in there, remind me, we'll show you where some of it's actually starting to wear out a little bit on one of the frames, where some of the chalk's actually gone down. It's actually on one of the corners I observed. And then obviously this itself, you know, it's just chalk. You know, it wears, it's easily malleable when it's wet, makes it very slippery. See, everybody should know the risks. Please don't try this. We're doing it, we're experienced, we know what we're doing. As you can see, we've got all the abseiling gear just for like basically guide ropes. And yeah, there you go. So welcome, Darenth Denehole. I'm with Luke behind, if you can film. Luke, yourself, can you? Do you want to say hello? He's quite shy. There we go. And we've got Matt. So it's a special one tonight. We've got three boys out. So that's how effing dangerous it is. So next video you'll see will be in it. And it's in Aladdin's Cave of Amazingness. So we'll see you when we're in there. Alright guys, take care. Go slack. This is kind of like a South African rope climb, but I'm not attached to the pit itself.
You need to bring all the sluck in with you, mate. So
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm doing.
Pull it out.
Okay, here we go. Before you get in, I'm going to need the torch. Stay there. Oh shit. That wasn't good. Wait a second, guys.
I think you just knocked it off with your bag then.
Yeah, I know, but it's quite malleable, which is what's worrying me. Okay. Need the rope. Am I holding on to it?
No, there you go.
Got it. Right.
Go on, keep going. You've got about 3 metres.
Hey, mate.
Back still.
Am I coming in?
Yeah, go for it.
It's going to be interesting. I like how Dan does it with 2 hands. And I've got to hold a camera.
I did it with a camera last time.
Whatevs. Trevs.
Take the shovel, mate.
What? You want it?
Yeah.
Yeah then.
Right. Thanks for that. Okay. Got the slap from the bottom. Take your time.
I have to take my bag off, aren't I?
No, you'll be alright, mate.
You reckon?
Take it off when you get to where I am.
Oh, I'm coming in hot.
Alright, cool. I've got the slack from the bottom, mate. Okay, cool. Aim to your left when you curve round, alright?
Left.
Yeah, to your left, to your left. That's it, well done, mate, you're in. You're in. Whoa!
Sorry.
Okay. Oh, it's great. Okay, whoa.
I can't see where I'm going. Can you move that vine off my bag?
Yeah. I don't want to ruin your bag. That's there we go.
Oh, okay, it's the other one.
Okay.
That was a bit more difficult than I thought.
Alright, okay. Right, ready? It's these vines, believe it or not, are actually the problem. Okay, like I said, I'll go first again. I was going to say, you should keep to your left, mate.
Yeah, I'm struggling because I'm slipping.
Oh, well, I've heard of bonding, but slowly. There we go. Okay. And we're in. All right. Okay, mate.
Why do I do this stuff with you? I don't.
Why not? Project to Matt, can you hear me over?
Yes, can
You are going to, the torches, believe it or not, are stuck. One second. I need some more slack on the rope, mate. They're not that far down. Well, they are far. They're far enough that I can grab them, but we can need some more slack.
Okay, roger.
Welcome to Aladdin's palace. Okay. Right. Cave spiders are there, by the way.
You what? Forgot about them.
Can you hear me, Matt?
Oh, I can hear you, mate.
Lower down.
Hang on.
Alright, mate. Okay. Up a little bit more, mate. Tiny bit up. Wrong way. No, wrong way. Okay, do. Lock it off. Shouldn't be shouting, really.
Well, that's cool.
I think that would be fine. So,
Where are we then, Dan?
so we're in Darenth with Denehole itself now. We are right in the middle, underneath where they would have come. In fact, you can kind of make out a few footwells. These are, in fact, some of the footwells. That one, that one, that one, that one. Look, you can see a few of them up there, look. These little holes. Oh. And these are the three openings from this side, the butterfly, what I like to refer to as a butterfly. Or got one there, which we will go into. There's one. There's one there. Behind you. We entered one, which has now collapsed, unfortunately.
Which was dodgy as hell.
Yeah, there's one there. And then there's pretty much the darkest one that I realised was dark. I don't mean spiritually dark, by the way, everyone. I just mean dark, like that.
I think there's been fires in here.
Yeah, there is. And let's just get this over with. So when I've come in here, a reason why that it is effing dangerous, because I saw that, and that's fresh. And you can see where the water's been dripping down through the holes, coming through on the breaks. And most of the breaks in the chalk, or the fresh deposits, are actually in the bottom parts of the cave, or the Denehole itself, which is never good, because that's our foundation, so it would, in theory, just fall down. Now, before anybody says anything, we're not wearing hard hats. We're not wearing hard hats for a very specific reason, actually for us. Two reasons. That it hinders us actually from getting in here. For me personally, for Luke and that especially. We've got everything else that we need to have, apart from hard hats. So if anybody writes in and goes, oh yeah, well, you know, you didn't like use hard hats, so you weren't that safe. So we don't really use them for this. And again, that's another reason why doing a recce of somewhere or being familiar with a place that you've done before is always a good thing. Hence another reason why sometimes you see a lot of people with asbestos masks on, etc., when, you know, if they want to hide their face, it's fantastic. But a lot of other times, you know, unless there is actual asbestos there or any form of chemicals, I think the only time actually you'll see on my channel that I've ever used a mask was at shorts. That's because of there's a lot of it was quite damp in the air, and if you have a chest infection or cold, really that's when you need to wear a mask in sort of situations like this, because it's quite damp, clammy air. It's quite moist there, isn't it? Yeah. So, should we have a look? Welcome to my crib. So here's the first one. Now, which one's the best? That one I'm going to talk about. Remind me, Luke. That one's probably the best example of some benches, or not benches, but so in we go. So what they would have done was they would have mined. Now you can see a lot of the flint marks, and these are actually sitting places that you could have actually sat into. So as they were sort of mining, you could sort of like sit here, which is what we're going to do later, I think. And this is how they would have done it. So they would have created these like little caverns, caves. They would just sort of mined it out. And like I said, basket underneath, and then that basket would have been winched up, pretty much like what our LED strip lights are doing right now. They would have been on that rope, and then that would have mined out the chalk. But they would have more than likely had specialists doing this for the farmers. They wouldn't have. I think some people assume that it would have been the farmer who would have done it, but actually sometimes he would have hired some people who would have been like, hey, you know, we'll give you some money if we do this. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Here's number 2. Which we'll try and get into as close as possible. Now there is a reason for this. This isn't modern, by the way. This wooden. These are wooden planks and wooden. Well. Bits of wooden plank. I'll talk to you about that in a minute because that's very, very interesting. Yeah, here you go again. See, somebody's dug out a little thing where you could almost sit there. So I'm sort of sitting there like this, and then a cup of coffee. Yeah, I mean, they obviously would have had like lanterns and torches. Well, not torches, sorry, like little candle lights. Maybe. I mean, if you look behind you, apart from the light, if I turn my light off, apart from that, and assume that would have been obviously assume that Denehole in front of us, or the cave, sorry, would have been filled up like what we're sitting in now. It would have been pretty dark because that entrance shaft doesn't actually give out that much light. And we're probably doing this video around about the time of day where we're already going to get the most amount of light we're going to get for today. So yeah, what an incredible thing. And so rare these days because, again, another reason why I keep procrastinating and saying to people you shouldn't come into places like this unless you're experienced enough that you can, is that, you know, all of these have either been in the field or been completely caved in. So when you see a complete cavernous pit, that's actually because one of these has done that, it's collapsed inwards and it looks like a bomb crater. And like I said, the southeast got a fair few of them located, but this is probably one of the better preserved ones. So we've done 2 so far, so let's have a look at the other ones. The other ones I think are actually more interesting, they're probably better preserved. What do you think, is it picking out light-wise, do you reckon, mate?
No idea.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I'm thinking, shall we take a strip off? No, fuck it. So we apologise, it's too dark for you. Oh, careful. Right. Okay, I think the thing is, at least the torch is highlighting where we are. So, this is number 3. Now, number 5, in a minute, there's a hole at the top where water's coming through. So that's, give that a few years and I reckon that's going to be the next one to cave in. But the chalk marks on these are just incredible. You know, the fact that somebody actually did that, mined out the chalk, and then, you know, did what they had to do. It's just boggles the mind, you know, of all the effort. We know that they were used up until late medieval period, chalk mines and Deneholes, but we don't really know how early they were. And there's a lot of confusion behind them because, again, some people call them Daneholes, and that would have been the reason behind that was because they assumed it was something to do with Vikings. There's a lot of other conspiracies, that's quite a strong word. There are a lot of other tales about that these could have been Druid temples, that when you're here, that this would have been a temple and they would have sacrificed someone here. In fact, actually, if you go to Chiselhurst Caves, these are going to look really familiar to you, because at Chiselhurst Caves you've got this. So come behind me, Luke, actually, we'll show a really good example here. In Chiselhurst Caves, they will let you stand in this, and they'll call it a Druid temple. funny enough, in Chislehurst Caves as well, there'll also be an entrance left and there'll be an entrance right, much like this. The difference with Chislehurst Caves, though, is that it was actually really well caved. And instead of what we're looking at there, which is another pit, that would have been a massive tunnel system. So if you've ever been to Chislehurst Caves, picture this, but picture it in one of the corners that you would probably be shown around on your tour. I think it's the bit where he normally talks about the Druid Temple stuff. It's quite similar to that. And it would have been the same. Chislehurst Caves started off, believe it or not, as chalk farming. And they would have been helped, and then that turned into like a mushroom farm because of the dampness and everything else. So quite possibly it could have been a Druid sort of sacrificial temple. It would have been amazing to know that, wouldn't it? It would have been really cool to sort of go, God, how cool is that? But I don't think so. I just sort of think, why would you climb all the way down here just to sort of, you know, and then to have an audience? It makes no sense. But that is definitely a rumour. Another rumour is that these could have been hidey holes for people. Little communes, should there have been some danger from an outside threat. So should there have been an invasion, for example, the community or a few villages or anything would have used these as escape plots. And to be fair, they're quite possible.
Yeah.
Oh, careful. So that one, the one that Luke was standing in, I think probably got the best seated wells on that. In other words, you could sit on that quite comfortably, not have to worry about it too much. This one, number 5, up there, this is what I was talking about. Up there is a hole where moisture and everything else has precipitated coming down. In fact, there's a couple of holes. And that is probably the next one to probably go, if I was a betting man, about how we sort of do this. So, yeah, dangerous. Especially, like I said, that obviously I explained in the video that we did have quite heavy rainfall last night, and it was kind of one of them ones where Luke and Matt were both having a three-way conversation about, are we going to do this because it's too wet? But we still did it because we were familiar with it. We wouldn't have done. We probably would have. If you're not familiar with somewhere and you're not sure, never go and do it. Fortunately, we are with this. So yeah, this is number 5. And then to number 6. Number 6 is sugar. 1, 2, 3. Number 6 is obviously. Did we call it number 6? Is the collapse. Unfortunately, you can see how much is collapsed in this. So believe it or not, this roof is that roof. So if you can kind of just like assume that is, so this would have been massive underneath this, and all the rubble and everything else that's collapsed in top of it. And you can see obviously at the top there's a huge depression, and all of that is just seeped through here. Now one final other main point that I'm going to bring up, actually no, let's bring up 2 because it's an AK Lightworker video, so yeah, that's right, yeah. Freaking cave spiders are everywhere. There was a family over there of them. They're everywhere, but it's one of them things best not to look. But they don't, these ones are quite quiet around here. They're hidey ones. And second of all, this. Now this is really interesting. All this behind you, sorry Luke. All these trees and logs and everything that's in here, so on every tree, this, believe it or not, was done on purpose and not in a modern context. They believe that they would have filled up that hole with these branches from trees surrounding. And the idea was to stop that shaft from obviously people entering it, even back in it was pre-Roman really, you'd sort of say, so Celtic even earlier than that. And they would have pretty much even filled it once they'd got what they needed to sort of get out of it. There's 2 types of Denehole, so I'm going really geeky now. There's 2 types of Denehole, but this one's probably the best example, which is a tiered system. The only difference with this actually, believe it or not, is it's quite shallow. We're not actually, well, we are far down, but we're not as far as some Deneholes have gone. So normally they're quite deeper. So I think I've pretty much covered everything for you guys, and we are just going to chill out, I reckon, again for a little bit, aren't we? You know, we've got the talkies. Matt's up there, top side. It's always good to have one because if something does happen, and you never know, it's better to be safe than sorry, as everybody knows watching out there. And there's another reason why, probably for about 4th time in this video, I'm going to say don't come here and do this unless you are completely experienced enough that you feel need to. I think, Luke, you filmed up top, we've got climbing ropes, abseiling ropes, the whole lot, just in case of emergency. So a lot of people would sort of think that might be overkill, but for us, you never know. Like I said, it's better to be safe than sorry a lot of the time, especially in somewhere where it's literally, you know, times that I've been here for, it's literally falling off. The chalk is literally falling off. And like I said, when we came down here last week, me and Matt, that is interesting. That is fresh. No, I didn't do it, everyone. I'm not that clumsy. But that's all fresh. And if I touch it, oh look, wobble. Oh, see? I've just broken it, made it worse for everybody. So yeah, that wall, look, hang on. Alright, I won't do any more because Luke will start freaking out. But that's, we've had enough of chalk. But yeah, that's pretty fresh. So there you go. If you want to look one more time up at the shaft. Matt, just say hello to the camera for us.
Hello viewers, I'm currently up here keeping watch, making sure everything's safe. Yeah, cool. Over and out.
So that was, so that was Matt and Comms. Luke's going to do some photos, which you can find on his Instagram page, Luke. Yes, excellent. I've got to get his social media things right. And yeah, if you're wondering if Matt looks familiar, yeah, he was the percussionist, the light worker, who's also an abseiler in his spare time. So what are the chances? Alright guys, we'll probably film a little bit more for you, maybe when we're topside. Just sort of say we've done it, yeah, you know, rock and roll. And there we go. So we'll say goodbye for the moment and see y'all later. Do you want to just do a film round anyway without me? Just go in between them because they're not gonna want to see my face all the time.
Can I have that torch?
Yeah, of course you can, mate. Hello. Max is packing up gear over there, first off. Yeah. So we're just unpacking now, getting ready to head off. Hopefully you can hear us because it was really cool. We had a really good time. Luke's standing right on the edge. And email. And hopefully everybody enjoyed it, watching it and stuff. And thank you so much always for subscribing. See everybody later. Say goodbye, Luke.
Bye.
Bye.